Hey, I guess I wanted to make a video series, or I'm gonna link them all together. This is the first one, in this particular one, and this is about going on a cruise with Carnival. I've been on a cruise before, but it was kind of a whippy cruise. It went out of Fort Lauderdale, and I've went twice. And usually, if you go, one person in your party goes on their birthday, they get it free, and the other people had to pay. But everything on the ship cost extra, which it was real cheap. Probably, like $100 or $129, but then everything on the ship. If you went to the comedy club or wanted to get a hamburger or anything, cost extra. Now, I'm fixing to go on a Carnival cruise, and this is the first time I've done it since the after the pandemic, or at the end of the pandemic, or whatever you call it. A lot of places are starting to lighten up on everything. The cruise line is still kind of strict. They recommend wearing masks in certain areas still on the ship. You have to show you've been vaccinated, or usually you have more time to prepare for a cruise. But we were kind of, March was my 25th anniversary, so I didn't have a chance to really do anything, and my wife was feeling bad, so we stayed in town. So she said, well, we've been married 25 years, we need to go somewhere. So we decided to go on a cruise, because I've been kind of wobbling around and going on the mountains, or pushing her in a wheelchair long distances, or riding. It's not as It takes a lot of energy now, so we figured, well, cruise, we're on a ship and it goes everywhere, and there's so we decided to go out of Charleston, South Carolina, and the Carnival boat, the Sunshine, and it looks pretty good. It's You pay for the cruise, and you can do it online, and then you have to pay port tax and another fee after your cruise. So you can decide what kind of cabin you want, whether you want to get one with a balcony. We just got one that has a window to the ocean. I think they call it ocean view. And you can choose if you want a king size bed, or two twins, or a king size and a couch. Now my wife has a wheelchair, so we can bring the wheelchair, but we didn't do it ahead of time where they could have gave us a wheelchair room with handrails and all that. So we got one that they said it'd be big enough where we could fold the wheelchair up in. So that'd still be pretty good. And there's a lot of stuff you can do on a cruise for free, but certain things you have to pay for extra. Like it's a 5-day cruise, so you can sail to Bell Island, and you can do certain things like a nature hike, or go kayaking or double kayaking, and all this extra. But they don't have a port for the big ship, so they'll have like little bitty boats, or I don't know how big they are. I'll try to capture all this on film that I can, but I don't know how much I can load, because once you enter the water, you have a roaming. But I've got you can pay in advance for internet, which is kind of high. It's $14 a day, and you have Wi-Fi, and you have to turn your phone on airplane mode so you don't roam. And also, my wife wanted to get something that's like Pretty Woman, with I think some champagne and some candy or something. So she got that package. And there's another package. I remember people telling me about it, but there's also, I guess there's places around the boat that have photo ops. And if you walk by, and they'll grab you, I guess, or you tell them you want to take it, out of the 3,000 passengers on the boat, you'll have plenty of opportunity where they can just hey, what's your picture? And then if you pay for this package, you can select up to 5 pictures. The one we did, it's like $100. Um, they have an alcohol package, which we decided not to do. I think it's $59 a day. I don't know how many drinks you get with that. And then I think it's unlimited, like $9 a person per day for sodas. And you can drink them with your meal, and they give them into you like 16-ounce glasses. So they would probably be flat, what I'm thinking. So somebody told me you can get coffee, tea, water for free. And they have a 24-hour buffet. Now I did have to pick my meal times. You can have one where you're on a waiting list or you get a certain time. Also, I had to go through a bunch of questionnaires, and you have to elect, even though you pay for it up front, and you can pay for a lot of your stuff that you do on the boat up front, and it's cheaper to do it before you go. And they have pictures and reviews, so you can kind of see if you want to do it. A lot of them get sold out real quick. I'd recommend, we're going with their birth certificate and driver's license, but I'd recommend, if you like cruises and want to go again, to get a passport for at least a U.S. citizen. Because if you say get stranded on one of the islands or something happens, you have to go to a hospital because they only have like limited medical care on the ship, and you get stuck in one of these places you go, you cannot fly on an airplane with a birth certificate and a driver's license. You have to have a passport. So you'd have to go through a lot of hassle. So we kind of did a spontaneous last minute. So hopefully everything goes well, or we will have to go through a hassle. We did not have any planning on this. It was just kind of, let's go on a cruise. And it's counting down quick. It shows you how many days you have left, so it's coming. But so far, it sounds really nice. There's a lady at work, and she was excited about cruises, and several other people been on cruises, and I said, okay, we'll give it a shot. So we just did the photos. We did the I don't drink, but my wife, she likes that stuff, and you can elect to even tie. It's a cash-free ship, so you can either tie it to the credit card or you pay cash when you get there. But they're going to try to get the tips, gratuity, and if you buy anything, they add it automatic. But at the end of your trip, they're going to want to add that also. So you have to go argue with them about it, and then you can pay the people who you feel like that helped you a tip on your own, but it's a cash-free ship. What I read, they're talking about having to wear a mask in certain areas, recommended. It's not as strict as it was, but it's still, since, the cruise lines got shut down during the pandemic, they want to keep them running. So, you had to respect that. The vaccine, you had to show proof of vaccine, or if you didn't, you had to get a waiver. And then I've never had a test to see to see if I had COVID. So you have to go get a test. 3 days if you've had a booster shot, 2 days if you've had just what they consider fully vaccinated, your first and second dose. So you still had to get a test 2 days before, and then anywhere you go, you're going to get temperature checked several places, and it'll get less strict as it goes on. A lot of people who used to go on cruises are kind of not wanting to do that, but it seems real fun. There's some high prices. It costs more than the cruise per person, or pretty close, and they're renting like a house for the day on like Nassau, and those are sold out. like $600-700 per person to rent this thing on the island. That's extra. And I was like, well, that's kind of weird. Why would you do that? Well, who knows? I'm not a young whippersnapper anymore, so a lot of the swimming with the dolphins or going underwater with turtles or whatever in the ocean. I'm like, okay, I can watch a video and enjoy that just as much. But I'm excited. We're going to drive down there, and they have a city parking. So you drop your person off, and then you can park in the city parking. I don't know how much that is yet. I had to find out. And you have an appointment for the boarding. You have to be there a certain time, and you can print out your luggage pass. You get one in 5 days. You get one bag. You weigh less than 50 pounds, and you get a carry-on bag. And the bags that I think they said they want you to pay like $2, $1 per person, because I guess that's all they get paid. They don't get paid by the hour. It's very encouraged to. They want you to tip everybody down there for everything, on the boat. So when you check your bags in, they won't it's recommended to give them $1 per bag. So I don't know why they are like that. My dad, when he lived in Hilton Head, just for somebody to take his golf bag out of his car and put it on the ground, they wanted $1 for that. So they're it's the land of the handouts, I guess. I don't know. It's a different type of thinking about it. I work all day, a certain amount for an hour, and they don't tip me just because I showed up to work. So it's kind of weird. But maybe they don't have insurance. But it seems pretty cool. I was talking to a great guy, and he was telling me how big the ship was, and I can imagine it. He said from that wall to that wall and through the roof, below the floor. So you can just imagine this thing is like, probably fill up a football field, and it's got all kind of stuff on it. Some of the stuff we seen, it had like a sky lift thing that looks like you're riding a bike, but you're strapped in and you can kind of go over the boat, and that's free. A water slide, looks like tubes you can get in. I don't know if I'll do that, but you have the option to it. They have a lot of bars that you have to pay extra for, and alcohol, and then there's a lot of free entertainment that you can go in the nightclubs, and I guess you had to pay to go gambling, and they have a candy store, and Carnival's called the party ship. So we'll see. Told them my wife was handicapped, being in a wheelchair, so they said they'd probably push her to the room, and I told them I'm kind of wobbling. I have no idea what's wrong with me, but I sort of do. I have on my back has some slip disc, the L1, L2, bulging disc, and my feet had stress fractures. And I went to chiropractor, and he said, well, he thinks most of my problems, my feet, has caused everything to misalign going up. So I got these inserts coming from a place in Augusta called Mooney's, and they measure my feet and put this. They're gonna order these inserts made especially for my feet. So hopefully that'll help. So I'm probably gonna be wobbling around everywhere, but I'm excited. We decided to get 2 twin beds. You can choose that, and you have to do like your pre-boarding. And once you do all that, set up and once you set up an online account, and once you set up an account that you use, because it's a cashless ship, you can't use cash, so you have to have like a card that's tied to your money, cash or credit. So if you take, I think it said at least $200 on a credit card, but say if you took $500, $200, $500, $600 cash, you can put that on a ship card. then you just use the ship card instead of cash, and I guess you cash it out at the end. Hopefully, we'll see how that works. Then if you wanted like to buy instead of $60 worth of alcohol, you just want one drink. I don't drink, but my wife likes them every now and then. You know, so one drink might cost you $12, $20, and then they have shops on the boat you can go, and you have to buy all that separate, and it's not included in the cruise. You know, and all these excursions on the island, and they have spa packages and all kind of stuff for kids, and all this stuff you can pay. You pay a lot of money. You know, you can do what you want or do less you want. But it seems really cool so far. Even though everything was on the internet, and you can sign up for an app that will tell you where everything is on the ship. And they recommend when you get on the ship, you go to airplane mode, and then you log in the Wi-Fi, the Carnival Wi-Fi, and they have like 3 packages. The most expensive one's like $14 a day. So we're going to have internet on one phone, or Wi-Fi on one phone, so we don't, pay $3 roaming, and I get fussed at because my bill would be high. But I'm looking forward to getting a lot of these ocean views, and testing how this phone's going to work on all these pictures, and really excited. It's I remember my dad used to go on the cruises, and he'd always have these pictures and all be dressed up. So I guess they used to do the package deal where they get the pictures, and it wasn't as cheap. It's a new picture package that's cheaper than it used to be. They wanted you to do a whole lot more. So a lot of people told me, yeah, the prices are good now. But you still have this COVID thing you still have to prepare for, and then there's a lot to it. You gotta pack what you want that weighs less than 50 pounds, and you can print out your suitcase boarding pass, and you just print it out and you fold it, and then you tape or staple it around your luggage, and then they know who you are, and hopefully they don't come off so they don't lose your bag. And then you print out your boarding pass once you go through all the questions, and you put your address, your emergency contact, and go by your account, if your ship account, and then what time you want to be there, what time you want to have supper, and then it also tells you, hey, this is going on, and if you want to buy all this extra stuff, buy it now. It'd be cheaper now than later. Once you do all that, then you get your boarding pass. So I'm looking forward to it. We waited kind of last minute to prepare for everything, so usually you would have time, and I took off like a week for work, but then I gotta take off like 7 hours because I gotta go get a COVID test. So I gotta drive by CVS, stick my head out the window, I guess, and be tested, and hopefully get the results back in time. There's an app you had to download for that, just for the COVID certification. You had to put what kind of shot you had, and like step 1 and step 2, and then step 3 is getting the test, and then step 4 is entering the results. And that's just to make sure you're healthy. All your screening. A whole app for that. It's crazy. But it sounds pretty cool. There's going to be a lot of people. We're going to be on like the 5th deck. So hopefully be close to the food. And jacuzzi. I want to get in the jacuzzi every day. That's my deal. Eat, jacuzzi, and different ships have different things. There's a whole lot of Carnival ships, and I read that Carnival was the first cruise line to come back in full service after all this stuff's going on. So that shows you that they got their stuff together and know what they're doing. So, I'm excited. So far, I've only had to print out 3 things: the boarding pass, the suitcase luggage, and the medical for the wheelchair that she's bringing. And I have to email that to a certain thing. But it was cool once I uploaded the vaccination cards. Within a couple of hours, they approved them. I just took a picture and uploaded them. So the technology is neat. It's just when you are going back and forth from your email and you sign in the password to Carnival and you go back here, a lot of things take you back and forth. So that's what's kind of confusing, because you're like, they recommend you to have, it's getting stricter. But if you're leaving from, say, Charleston, even though you go out of the country and then you come back to Charleston, they still let you have a driver's license. Eventually, I think you're going to have one of those full driver's license, has like a little star on it. But I have the regular one and a birth certificate. But, eventually they want you to have a passport. Anytime you leave the U.S., they're gonna get stricter on it. And don't throw any trash overboard. It's a big fine. You don't want to smoke cigarettes, except certain areas. There's a big fine. It's a lot of fines. You can go there, and if you don't read everything beforehand and you find out last minute, they can refuse your entry. If you have a fever when you get there, they refuse your entry. And if you test positive with COVID, then they'll give you ship credit in the future. But, so you got to go through a whole lot of stuff, have all your I's and Q's, and dot your I's and cross your T's. But, this will be my first real cruise. And if it works well, we'll probably go back. So I just wanted to share that. This to be the first video in the cruise series, and hopefully I can get a lot of pictures of the ocean and what the ship's like, if I can do it without getting my phone wet. I just want to share that. Getting ready for the first cruise, the first big cruise. And we'll talk at you later.